Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. These guys, I think, both excellent fighters. They're kind of fighting for second place at this point, right? Because they both lost to Izzy twice. But I think that kind of just speaks to like where the middleweight division is at. Like, because these guys are both like, if Izzy wasn't there, like one of these guys are probably going to be champion. Who do you got going into this fight?
Yeah, actually, exactly how you said. If you go through the slides that I prepared, that's why I even I took the whole middleweight. I think first 11 fighters. If you go through the whole category, like who you gonna put? I think that's why they did with Alex Pereira. They made him like because of his history. I would say like a fake contender. Like if you ask
Yeah.
me, he really didn't deserve with anything that he did in MMA and UFC to already like now how many matches he has, like 6 or 7, to be contender
Mm.
for
In
the
the
for,
UFC, I think he has like three or
no,
four.
in UFC he has I think 3,
Yeah,
or maybe even 4.
maybe four with that Strickland fight.
Yeah, but like that's saying like about the situation in middleweight. I think middleweight category is like in worst situation in the history of the
Yeah,
middleweight.
only three fights. Yeah.
Yeah, only 3 fights. Yeah, actually, yeah, 2 finishes, one on decision. So if you go like Robert Whittaker, his last I think 14 or 13 fights, he won since he moved to middleweight. He lost only twice from Easy. If you
Hmm.
go to the Marvin, his last 10 fights, he had one draw, I think, or no contest, and two loss from Easy. All other wins. So like you said, this is for number two. But to number two guy in category. But like again, will he get a chance against Easy? I don't think so.
Hmm.
Like they can only like sit down and pray that Alex will pull some crazy KO on Easy. And
Yeah.
then the category maybe can start be interesting again.
Hmm.
Otherwise, let's say now Israel beats Alex. Who's he gonna fight next? Like here, I
Right.
don't see any guy that can even like Whittaker 2 chances. Cannonier,
I would think probably another run at 205, or maybe even ask Dana if he could go to boxing for a little bit while they figure it out in the middleweight division.
yeah, I think that's the only guy who can get like how to say justified leave. Like what else he can do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Go to the next page. Who we have on the next one? We have Paulo Costa also. No, Sean Strickland after like there is no
Yeah.
one. So basically, I don't
That
know.
that is crazy. They got Pereira at number five already. I mean, as good as he might be, like he hasn't fought a lot of top 10 guys, you know.
But yeah, like we are talking about might be the guy who got a chance for a title only
Yeah.
because of the story. That like I said, that's saying something is wrong with the middleweight category, or like Israel is like 2 levels above everyone. So I don't know. Maybe they should clone Easy and make him fight himself.
Yeah. But I
But
mean, we do have a pretty awesome fight with Whitaker versus Vittori. I just watched Vittori versus Costa again. The first time I watched it, I was super excited about it, and I remember watching it. I was at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I was like watching it on my phone, like right before my match. So I did miss some of it, but I rewatched it again recently, and dude, Marvin Vettori, he's got a fucking chin on him. Like he was eating some shots, um, which like I don't know if you want to say that's a good thing, especially going against Whitaker, but like he can take a beating and keep throwing some leather. Um, especially against Costa, who like usually if he lands that many head kicks and body shots, he's gonna finish somebody. So that was actually really impressive to me watching Vittori, be able to win that fight even after eating some head kicks, which like I don't know. I don't know if I said it last week or if I was just telling you like I don't really like Vittori. I don't like his style. But after rewatching that fight, like I actually have some respect for Vittori. Against Robert Whittaker, though, who he's not like Paulo Costa. Like he doesn't throw everything he has into every punch. Like he's more measured. He'll pace himself. He's fought like how many 5 round fights? I think I wrote it down somewhere, but yeah, like he has 6 out of his 7 last fights were scheduled for 5 rounds. So like he has that in him to go 5 rounds, and most of the time he wins those. If he's not fighting Israel Adesanya. So I think against Whitaker, it's going to be a little bit too much. Like you probably should have better defense if you're going against Whitaker, who he's game to throw punches and kicks for 5 rounds. I do think Whitaker is going to edge out a decision, but I think Marvin Vittori, like, it takes two to tango, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a dance this Saturday. How about you?
For me, the question is like what Robert wants next. Like after this last his fight and defeat against Adesanya, you know, I think the question number one is like where is his head at? Does he have any more motivation? Um, like we said, this is for number two guy in category. And if you go by the odds, he's like minus 210, favorite. So he's like double favorite against Vittori. That's saying like is how I see it. Like Easy is here, Whittaker here, everybody else is down.
Yeah.
So the question is like I think the most what's gonna decide this fight is like where his head is. Like if even like I think lately what he was doing, he was winning all fights on decision. I think he was just like cruising um, towards his second fight and crack at Easy. Pardon me. So he's not like that killer that he was, KO people like like going for the finish. So that's for me the biggest question in this fight. Like honestly, talking about Vittori, I think he is hungrier. Like even though he also have like two defeats against Easy, and the first one was a split decision, what he was thinking that he can come to that level, and then in the second fight we saw that they're not even close level. But I think he's hungry to start again.
Yeah.
That's my opinion that I have. I don't know where Robert is. I think that Vettori is hungry to try and to get another chance. Also, like talking about his last fight, the kicks that coming from the Costa, and that's like not Costa before Adesanya, and we saw that against again we are mentioning Rockhold. I guess like he's now like in MMA dictionary for many things. Um, so talking about that, I don't know if he get one or two head kicks from Whittaker. I think he will go to sleep because Robert is really good in
Mhm.
hiding his, especially that his uh, right. I think head kick because he goes
Yep.
one two and then that leg is flying,
Yeah.
and he is adding that left hook.
Yeah.
So if he got hit by one combination like that, I think he will go before to sleep than what uh, what Costa is offering with his, even though they're power shots.
Hmm.
So that's the question. I think he took too much damage, unnecessary damage. I was like really like honestly, that's I think maybe first time that I was really impressed by Costa.
Mm.
even though he lost, because I thought like mentally he will completely go down. So
What do you think about that point deduction? If there is no point deduction, which I agree there should have been one, but without the point deduction, who do you have winning that fight?
I think still, like, honestly, like, now you confuse me, but if you go back to the scoreboard, I think still it will be
Still Vettori.
Vittori's fight. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it was close. I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of the judges gave it to Costa because rounds 4 and 5, like Costa was kind of putting it on him.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and for me, that's not that much props, even though I gave the props to Costa. But like, I thought, uh, I don't know. That's like, I think the Marvin mistake that he let it go,
Yeah.
because I think if he fought the Costa before Adesanya, he would get smashed. You
Hmm.
know, like, and talking about, like, if you go to the previous episodes, like how I break down the Costa, like you saw, like I wouldn't give more or less any other fighter, even from this list in middleweight. Uh, I wouldn't give Rockhold a chance. I gave him against the Costa, you
Yeah.
know, and he fought even Vittori before that fight, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, right after the Sanya, I
Yeah.
think so. And with the weight, what happened and everything, maybe that took a little bit out of Marvin Vettori, But I'm, we can just guess.
Yeah.
But again, that's what worrying me. So I cannot really, I don't know with who to go in this fight. Like with like minus two, 210, for the Whittaker, like it's really really confusing for me. Like,
I mean, that's kind of good odds for Marvin Vettori. Like, I mean, he hasn't really lost to anybody other than Izzy. So to call him like that's a kind of a big underdog going against Whitaker. Like, it's not too bad. But you did mention a little bit about like Robert Whitaker, where his head is at, and as of lately, I can't say what he thinks, but I do know, and I remember after the fight he thought that he won the last fight against Israel. So, I mean, whether he's right or wrong, I thought Izzy won it. But if he's still thinking that he won the fight, then, maybe he's not mentally defeated. Maybe he thinks like he still is the uncrowned champ. He's defending this, and it's just a matter of time before he gets his crack at the title. If he still believes that, after the fight, before rewatching it, it's a little bit different. You got the emotions. Maybe he changed his mind since then. But also, I mean, if he thinks he won that fight, I think that means a lot. It's a little bit different than if you like in their first fight when he got knocked out. But this was a decision in his
no,
loss.
for sure, he did much better, But also, like, if he thinks that he won that fight, then maybe we should really ask the question where he had is, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm joking, like all props to Whittaker. I think, like, honestly, that there is no Israel, he would be still reigning champion of that category,
Yeah.
like, so
But I
I
do
just
think
like
that killer. I mean, again, the Izzy fight, not considering. I think that killer is still in Whitaker because if you watch the fight against Gastelum, I don't know how that motherfucker was eating those kicks. Like he was beating up on Gastelum, and like maybe it's that classic Mexican toughness, but like he was just eating those head kicks, and I think Whitaker was really trying to put him out of there and make a statement.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, that was a fight of the night. It was like a
Yeah,
crazy fight. So yeah, like you said, maybe like he is again, but like he managed to make that pick. Now it's question what next. Does he
true.
have another run in him? Like, he's still young, 31 years old. Like, hopefully, like I said, you know, with the reason he is a favorite to 2-1. So I don't know, but like I said, for me, just like it's too much to put on Whittaker. And plus 180, I'm not sure about Vittori. That's why, like, this fight is for me so confusing. Let's just skip it and let's go to main event.